The 1946 Liberty Wheat Penny is far more than a forgotten coin from a jar of change. In the right condition, with the right traits, this 1-cent piece can command hundreds or even thousands of US dollars. This is the story of a coin that survived a world war, entered the American economy during a time of peace, and decades later became a valuable collector's item. The year 1946 was a turning point in American history. World War II had ended the previous year. The country was shifting from a wartime economy to a peacetime boom. Soldiers returned home. The GI Bill was in full effect. Suburbs began to sprawl, and a new era of prosperity was just beginning. Amid this transformation, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints struck hundreds of millions of pennies. But a few of these small coins, particularly those that survived and circulated or with striking errors, would eventually become numismatic treasures. The 1946 Wheat Penny continues the classic design introduced by Victor David Brenner in 1909, a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. Above his head, "In God We Trust." To his left, "Liberty." To his right, the date, 1946. 2 wheat ears curving upward along the sides. In the center, 1 cent United States of America and the motto "E pluribus unum." This design honored Lincoln and represented the agrarian strength of the nation. The wheat reverse remained in place until 1958, making 1946 one of the later years of this beloved era. 3 U.S. mints struck the 1946 wheat penny. Philadelphia no mint mark. The base value of a 1946 wheat penny in average circulated condition is usually just a few cents to a couple of dollars. But condition, mint mark, and errors can transform this humble coin into a valuable piece of history. Number of mint errors elevate the 1946 penny to serious collector status. Both the D and S mint marks for 1946 are known to have been repunched, creating a visible doubling of the mint mark. These errors can fetch $100 to $750 plus, depending on clarity and coin condition. Although rare for this year, some 1946 coins show doubling on the inscriptions. Especially, collectors continue to hunt for pristine examples in penny rolls, estate sales, and forgotten albums. As coin grading services become more accessible, hidden gems are emerging from long-forgotten collections. Always check for full wheat lines on the reverse and clean, red surfaces on the obverse. These characteristics indicate a higher grade and possibly a higher value. The 1946 Liberty Wheat Penny may seem ordinary. But behind its humble copper surface is a story of peace, recovery, and hidden value. Whether you're holding a beautifully struck MS-67 red or a quirky RPM with a visible double mint mark, this coin is a reminder that even the smallest items can carry great historical and financial significance. So check your pockets, look through old jars. The 1949 Liberty Wheat Penny, a coin that can be worth thousands of US dollars depending on condition, mint mark, and rare errors. This script avoids any use of the word host and contains no visual directions, making it ideal for narration-style videos. It weighs just over 3 grams. It's copper-toned, often worn smooth by time. And yet, the 1949 Liberty Wheat Penny may be hiding a value that far exceeds its humble denomination. Born in the shadow of World War II and minted during the dawn of post-war recovery, the 1949 Wheat Penny is more than a coin. It's a piece of American resilience. Some versions of this simple cent have sold for thousands of US dollars, not because of what they bought in 1949, but because of what they represent today. Let's uncover the story of this often overlooked penny and why collectors are still searching tirelessly for its rarest and most valuable versions. The year 1949 marked a critical transition. America was settling into post-war peace. The Marshall Plan was rebuilding Europe. The Cold War had begun to cast its long shadow. And at home, prosperity was slowly returning. It was in this context that the Lincoln Wheat Penny for 1949 was struck. Made of copper alloy, its design hadn't changed for decades, but its story was evolving. Millions were minted, but only a tiny fraction would survive in pristine condition or with the types of errors and qualities collectors now pay thousands for. The 1949 Wheat Penny continues the classic Lincoln design introduced in 1909. A verse front portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, flanked by the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date 1949. To curved wheat stalks surrounding the inscriptions, 1 cent United States of America and E pluribus unum, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. The San Francisco issue had the lowest mintage and is often the most sought after, especially in high grades or with rare die varieties. For most, a 1949 penny is just nostalgic pocket change, but for collectors, value varies drastically depending on grade, mint mark, and error. Some 1949 wheat pennies left the mint with striking mistakes that today are worth a fortune. Look closely at the words Liberty or the date. If there's noticeable doubling, you might be holding a coin worth $500 to $2,000 or more, common in both D and S varieties. When the mint mark was stamped more than once at slightly different angles, it creates a doubling effect. RPMs are highly collectible and can fetch $100 to $800 plus depending on sharpness. While not as dramatic, they still increase value, particularly on high-grade coins. Color and luster, red coins, that retain their original mint brilliance are far more valuable than brown or dull coins. Strike quality, a well-struck coin with sharp details can command a premium. Condition and grade, the higher the grade MS65 plus, the rarer and more valuable it becomes. Combine any of these with a rare mint mark or error, and the result could be a coin worth thousands. The 1955 Liberty Wheat Penny, famously known for its rare and valuable double die error, which can be worth thousands of US dollars. The script avoids using the word host and contains no visual direction, perfect for voiceover narration. The world of numismatics. There are coins that quietly gain value over time, and then there are coins that become legends. To most people, it's just a cent, brown, worn, easily forgotten. But to coin collectors, the 1955 wheat penny holds the status of a treasured artifact, with rare versions worth thousands, even tens of thousands of US dollars. And it all began with a simple, spectacular mistake at the US Mint. The year was 1955. America was in the middle of post-war prosperity. Elvis Presley was on the radio. Gas cost 23 cents per gallon, and pennies still mattered. That year, at the Philadelphia Mint, a mishap during production created one of the most recognizable and iconic mint errors in U.S. history. A small number of pennies were struck with a dramatically doubled image in error, so bold it could be seen with the naked eye. This was not just another coin. This was the 1955 double die obverse penny. Like other wheat pennies from the era, the 1955 cent features the classic Lincoln design introduced in 1909. Obverse front, a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, with the inscriptions, "In God we trust, liberty," and the date, 1955. It's not subtle, it's not faint, it's not something you need a microscope to see. The 1955 double die obverse is one of the boldest minting errors ever released into circulation. On error coins, each character appears clearly doubled, with sharp outlines visible to the naked eye. This wasn't a die crack or a strike-through. It was a complete misalignment during the die creation process, and it created a numismatic sensation. Fewer than 24 examples are believed to have been released, mostly during late-night production before the error was discovered. By then, the coins were already mixed into bags and sent to banks. The U.S. Mint decided not to recall them, and history was made. Today, the 1955 double die wheat penny is one of the most valuable and sought-after error coins in U.S. history. Even heavily circulated examples with visible doubling regularly fetch over $1,000. While the double die obverse steals the spotlight, there are other 1955 wheat pennies that collectors value highly. Coins with raised lumps from worn dies, especially near Lincoln's eye or the lettering, can be collectible. These create a shifted design, sometimes with part of the rim missing. Although 1955 Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, rare repunched marks have been observed in experimental or off-site test pieces. These lesser-known errors can still command hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. The 1955 double die wheat penny has been featured in books, documentaries, magazines, and even TV shows. Its fame extends far beyond coin shops. Auction prices continue to climb. The 1957 Liberty Wheat Penny is not just any old coin. To collectors, it's one of the final chapters in an iconic era of U.S. coinage, and in certain cases, it's worth hundreds or even thousands of US dollars. It might be hiding in a forgotten coin folder, or maybe it has passed through your hands without a second thought. Let's dive into the fascinating story of the 1957 wheat penny and discover why it's so much more than just 1 cent. The year 1957 was a time of transition in the United States. The Cold War was in full swing. Sputnik had just launched into orbit, and Elvis Presley ruled the charts. In the world of coins, something significant was happening too. The Wheat Penny series, which began in 1909 with Lincoln's profile on the obverse and symbolic wheat stalks on the reverse, was coming to an end. 1957 was the second to last year of the wheat cent design. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the Lincoln Memorial would replace the wheat years on the reverse. So in many ways, the 1957 penny is a farewell, one of the last moments of a beloved American design. The 1957 penny retained the classic, time-tested wheat cent look. Two curved wheat stalks flanking the inscriptions 1 cent United States of America and E pluribus unum. Though billions were made, only a small portion remain in brilliant, uncirculated condition or show rare errors that make them immensely valuable. There are two primary types of the 1957 wheat penny. 1957 Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark. With over 1 billion coins minted in Denver alone. These are not rare by mintage, so why are some worth thousands? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and minting mistakes. Coin type: grade, estimated value USD. Some examples of rare mint state coins. Graded MS-67 red have sold for over $3,000 at auction.